Every single country on Earth is in debt. United States owes over $34 trillion. Japan owes around $10 trillion. Germany, France, the UK, even small developing nations carry enormous debt. Headlines scream about it, politicians argue, and ordinary people worry the system will collapse. But who exactly is owed all that money? There has to be a creditor somewhere. You cannot have a borrower without a lender. So where is the lender? Who is sitting at the top of this mountain of global debt, collecting interest from entire nations? The answer is not what most people expect, and understanding it changes how you see the financial world. First, understand what national debt actually is. Governments spend on roads, hospitals, military, salaries. They have two options: collect taxes or borrow. Spending exceeds tax income, there's a deficit. To cover that deficit, the government issues bonds. A bond is a piece of paper. It says, lend us money today, and we promise to pay you back with interest over time. These bonds are sold on open markets to whoever wants to buy them. The total pile of all unpaid bonds over years is what we call the national debt. It sounds simple, but the key question is, who is actually buying all those bonds? The answer is not a foreign supervillain country sitting on a pile of cash. The biggest buyers of government bonds are institutions right inside the borrowing country itself. Pension funds buy government bonds because they are considered safe investments. Insurance companies buy them. Banks buy them. Mutual funds buy them. Even individual citizens buy them through savings, products, and retirement accounts. In the United States, roughly $7 trillion is held by the U.S. government's own agencies. The Social Security Trust Fund, for example, collected payroll taxes from workers for decades. That money needed somewhere safe to sit, so it was invested in U.S. Treasury bonds, which means the U.S. government borrowed from its own Social Security program. The left hand owes the right hand. And it sounds absurd, but it is completely legal and common. So when people say America is $34 trillion in debt, a more accurate picture is this. Roughly $7 trillion is owed by the government to itself. Around $14 trillion is owed to American citizens, banks, and institutions. And about $8 trillion is owed to foreign holders. That foreign portion gets the most attention because it sounds more alarming. Foreign countries owning American debt? But even that is not as dramatic as it sounds. Foreign governments and investors buy U.S. Treasury bonds for the same reason anyone does, because they are the safest, most reliable investment on the planet. When Japan or China earns dollars through trade and exports, they need somewhere to park that money. U.S. government bonds are the global savings account of choice. Japan is one of the most fascinating examples of how global debt actually works. Japan holds over $1 trillion of American debt, making it one of the biggest foreign creditors. At the same time, Japan itself has one of the highest debt-to-GDP ratios in the world. Japan owes an absolutely staggering amount of money. But here's the thing. Japan's debt is almost entirely held by Japanese people and Japanese institutions. Japanese banks own it. Japanese pension funds own it. The Japanese central bank owns enormous amounts, so Japan lends to America while borrowing from its own citizens. Its citizens lend to their own government, while their government lends to a foreign superpower. Everyone is simultaneously a creditor and a debtor, depending on which direction you are looking. This brings us to what economists call the closed system problem of global debt. If you add up all the debt of every country, corporation, and household on Earth, it's hundreds of trillions. It sounds terrifying. But for every single dollar of debt that exists, there is a corresponding dollar of financial assets. Debt and credit are two sides of the exact same coin. When a government issues a bond worth $1 million, that bond becomes a $1 million asset. The debt does not disappear into a void. It becomes someone else's wealth. The global financial system is not a pyramid with debtors at the bottom and one ultimate creditor at the top. It is more like a web, everyone connected to everyone else, lending and borrowing simultaneously. This is not a new phenomenon at all. Throughout history, whoever held the most capital became the creditor. After World War I, Germany was forced to pay enormous war reparations to France and Britain. Those countries became creditors to a defeated nation, collecting payments that crippled the German economy, and ultimately helped fuel the rise of extremism. After World War II, the United States launched the Marshall Plan, pumping billions of dollars into rebuilding Europe. America became the world's dominant creditor nation, not by accident, but by deliberate financial strategy. European countries owed American banks and government for decades. During the Age of Empires, colonial powers extracted taxes and resources from their territories and reinvested that wealth through London, Amsterdam, and Paris banks. The creditor was whoever controlled the capital. Today, that power is no longer concentrated in one nation or one institution. It is spread across thousands of banks, millions of pension accounts, and dozens of sovereign wealth funds. The creditor of American debt is partly a Japanese pension fund, partly a Chinese central bank reserve, partly a Norwegian sovereign wealth fund, and partly a retired American teacher's savings account. The creditor of Japanese debt is a Japanese rice farmer's retirement plan. The creditor of UK debt is a British insurance company paying out future claims. There is no single villain at the top. There is no secret master collecting the world's interest payments. The creditor, in almost every case, is ordinary people saving for their futures. This is exactly why the national debt conversation is so often misleading. When politicians say the debt is a crisis, they are rarely talking about who the creditor is. They're talking about something different: the risk that a government loses the ability or willingness to pay interest. That is when things get truly dangerous. Argentina has defaulted on its debt multiple times, wiping out the savings of investors who trusted it. Greece came close to collapse in 2010, when markets stopped believing it could repay its bonds, sending interest rates skyrocketing and crushing the economy. Weimar Germany printed money to pay its debts and destroyed the value of its own currency. In every one of these cases, the people who got hurt most were not abstract foreign governments. They were ordinary citizens whose savings, pensions, and bank accounts were tied up. So the next time you hear that a country is drowning in debt, the right question is not, who do they owe? The right question is, do investors still trust them to pay it back? As long as that trust exists, the debt keeps rolling over and the system keeps functioning. The moment that trust breaks down, the creditor, your pension fund, your savings account, your insurance company, is the one who loses. The debt was never owned by a shadowy villain at the top of a tower. It was owned by the system itself. And the system is all of us.